Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Amy and we are in luck. We've got more midlife crisis hauling for you today, so stay tuned. All right, so more midlife crisis hauling today. I want to preface this with saying it's never my intention to haul something on here twice. And if I ever do, it's a complete accident because I've forgotten that I've hauled it before. Now I'm saying that because in order for us to get this $10,000 worth of paper into the house, it's everywhere. And there's not a good way for me to, I'm going on memory for which boxes I've pulled in here to haul. So I felt like this video might have some repeats, but I don't think so. But just in case it does, feel free to skip forward or just sit and enjoy it again. But let's start out with bingo. We love bingo. I got this at Half Price Books. It's not old. It is, well, it doesn't say on the back of that, but let's see. So you guys, if you've been around for a while, know that I am building a bingo kit for my Etsy shop. And I should have a playlist for this midlife crisis haul videos now. So you can kind of go back and watch the earlier ones if you haven't yet to see why I spent $10,000 on paper. But bingo is one of the things I really like. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these are not so great. I don't know if I'm gonna put these in the bingo kit because they don't, it's not obvious that they're bingo. So I think they're just gonna get used. Well, heck, I could use these as journal covers because they're a little bit thicker, or memo pad covers kind of thing. So maybe that's how I'd use that. But the way I try to run these particular videos is haul / education, so that you can get some ideas in case you're into junk journaling or crafting, and some ideas of things. Granted, sometimes it's easier to get ideas by watching people actually create the stuff, but mine's more telling you how I'll use the items or whatever. But it does come with this deck of cards that goes with it, and I thought they were really cute. So I am always in the market for some good cards, whether it's traditional playing cards that go into my vintage swap shop, or which is just my Etsy shop, or using these to go in journals or ephemera kits. And then it also comes with these cute little token things, which are a hard card stock, but would be great for collage, I think. So yeah, so I'll try to tell you how I plan to use them. I don't have a lot of prices, but sometimes you can get ideas and then maybe do your own Etsy or eBay searches if you see something you like. And in terms of how I'm gonna price things in my store, I typically go look at the competition and try to be somewhere in the midst of the competition. All right, this is a tree book. I think this is in the same series as another tree book I have, which I think will be in this video if I brought the right bag, and so we'll confirm. But it's just got these great illustrated tree pictures, which could be colored, left alone, but so they'll get harvested. And this is a pretty decent size. After I harvest it, I could use this cover for a memo pad, right? It could be bound either on the side or at the top. Then I picked up a German dictionary. Those just make great collage pages or kit pages. And then we've got Gardener's Journal. Sorry, the tag was covering it. Mary Engelbreit. And I just thought, this isn't typically the kind of book I like Mary Engelbreit, but it's not typically what I would get based on my style. But why not? I mean, heck, if nothing else, bookmarks I could make out of these. Are they front and back? Yeah, front and back bookmarks. So, and not to mention you get grid paper. So yeah, why not? And then there's just other little images throughout. You know, if you sell junk journals and you offer customization, somebody might tell you they have a December birthday, or maybe you do Christmas themes. I don't know that I'll necessarily do a lot of themes, but I've got a folder over there where I'm keeping things that are kind of date driven, so these could go in that. But yeah, these would make, I think, great bookmarks, if nothing else. And then anytime I see, this was in the children's section, so of a half price books, it's on the pricier side, but it's Kate Greenway. And if you're not familiar with her as an artist, she has really pretty pictures. And I just happened to notice Kate Greenway, so I picked it out, and they're just nice, pretty images. And I think they were all one-sided. Yeah, so you didn't have to lose any of the images. So it's kind of, I kind of really like these. Is that a calendar? Yes, a calendar, but it doesn't, oh, calendar for 1884. So let's look and see what the date is on this. Kate, oh, here is the lady herself. And okay, it gives a little bit of information about Kate. She was born in 1846 in London. And let's see, it says she started drawing. She went to the Slade School of Art. The Christmas card, first conceived in the year of her birth, 1846, had become a craze by the 1870s. And the sensitive way in which Kate Greenway, Greenaway, the sensitive way in which Kate Greenaway approached the Christmas theme intensified demand for the cards and for her work. This was published in 1977, and it says, thanks are due to the private collectors and to the Victoria and Albert Museum for permission to photograph and reproduce works in their collections. So just a whole book of her artwork. So I will always pick those up when I see it. And then this one, hang on just a second. It's got like a little advertising sticker on it. Okay, this one, I have found one of these before. These I think are pretty popular in the sewing world. I found one of these before at the Goodwill bins, and I don't think I got home with all of it because the this part had come undone, and so I was literally going through the bins looking for all the pages, and I think somehow I didn't find them all, or somebody else had taken some of them, or some of them were just missing originally. But this one appears to be fully intact, and it's just, you know, sewing cards, and each section kind of has a different color that was used for all the illustrations. So it is just a fun little book, kind of cookbook style. And it is, if you're missing chapters or a binder at the end of the book promotion, or a binder at the end of the book promotion at a local retail outlet, here's an opportunity to order the missing part by mail. I wonder, wouldn't that be fun if you could still do that? Oh, here's a coupon. Well, it's got a coupon for the cookbooks, but it's also got the ad for this book, or maybe a newer version of this book. So the binders were $2.49. The chapters were 39 cents each, and the complete books were $6.98 back in the day. What would happen if you sent in I mean, would it just get returned in the mail because that place doesn't exist anymore? Okay, well, I was really trying to find the year, but maybe because of the nature of this, there's not really a cover or table of contents page. Oh, well, the binder says copyright 1971. So, okay. But this binder is in great shape. So, like if you were somebody that had like a home manual, this would be it's great to find old binders that are in good shape and use them for other things. All right, what next? All right, here we've got another person's kit. This one was 12 bucks for 80 plus pages. Well, it says 80 pages. So one thing I thought was cool about this is she put washi tape on here to close it, so then you get a piece of washi tape too. So I might steal that idea for my packaging, because this is how I package the things I sell, a lot of them. So I may steal that idea. That way people get a piece of washi tape too. So let's see what she thought would be a good thing to go in. We get these from market research just to see what it's like you want to say what the competition is selling, because it is sort of, but we're all kind of in a little community, right? Oh, this is cool. This looks like the kind of thing you could get on Temu. Part of a map. So you could take a street map and chop it into each of the like fold sections to put in a kit. Oh, here's another recipe page. That's obviously, there's cookbooks galore. Everywhere has cookbooks, so those would make good. Yeah, see, this looks like a Temu kind of thing. Put it up there so I don't lose it. Oh, I love this. I would love to know what book this came out of. That's fantastic. This is a sticker, as I can tell from that hanging down. So these, I used to do are you guys familiar with the Annie's kits? I used to do her card making kit. And I could see there being something like that in that. Oh, well, this is different. Is that from a card, do you figure? Like a greeting card? Part of a scrapbook page. So you could take a 12 by 12 scrapbook page and cut it up into 6 pieces. Oh, I like this one. Cut out different parts of this. Oh, some onion paper, maybe? Vellum? I don't know, it looks pretty delicate. Some pattern paper. Ooh, some tickets. Now I've got green, I got some red in a different kit. And I found a whole roll of white in Superman's hometown. Okay, the cat is under the blankets and she started moving when I started stacking all this stuff on her. Tag. Okay, well this is different. So, oh, there's things inside here. Okay, hold on. So a little, they probably sell these at the Dollar Tree, right? This kind of thing. But that's a great idea because you could cut out parts of this or leave it, well, I don't think you'd leave it like this, but, or you could use it as a box, but I wouldn't have thought of that. Huh, this looks like it would have been on like a clothing tag kind of thing. Oh, and we love our stamps over here, our grocery stamps. Yeah, this looks like it could have been like in a Tim Holtz kind of ephemera kit, but I know Temu has this stuff too. Probably because they stole it, but picture. Does it say? It doesn't say when it's from. Aw, are they? I think they're at the beach and one lady's got her shoes and socks. Her socks with her high heel shoes. That's funny. We are all cups constantly and quietly being filled. The trick is knowing how to tip ourselves over and let the beautiful stuff out. Ray Bradbury. So this has been a pretty good kit so far. We really aren't seeing duplicates, really. Oh, there's something in here. Ah, stamps. Maybe. Okay, so you get the envelope and then, yep, stamps. So that's cool. I like putting stamps in ephemera kits. So just lots of little, that's great. I like old pictures that have vehicles in them. Ooh, now this, I bought these off of Temu myself. Nothing in this one, but I know you can get those on Temu. Temu's a great source for cheap craft supplies. And if you don't care, like some people really only want to work with vintage and antique ephemera, but if you don't care about that, Temu is a great place to get cheap craft supplies. And the ones you see on TikTok, I think they probably got from Temu or AliExpress or something. Ooh, I like this one. Now this one was used to seal an envelope, it looks like. Okay, now got a little fuzzy ribbon, I guess, and some fabric and a piece of twine in there. Okay, so I didn't really mean to show you every single thing in here, but that seems to be what I'm doing. So a good mix of book images, scrapbook paper, photographs, notepads, stickers. Lots of good. It's good to have a good mix of sizes in your ephemera kits. Oh, a napkin. Part of a napkin. Part of a napkin. And only like the top layer of the napkin. So I guess that's one way to do it. But that one does look vintagey. And then this looks old, or maybe it's just been tea dyed. But yeah, a lot of this stuff reminds me of Temu stuff. I have this book. So just, it feels like this is more than $80. Oh, this has got the envelope too. More than 80 pieces. Oh, this is like a thick one. And then we've got some a Sears catalog page. It's literally just this random stuff with that, which is what you want. And so this is a really good kit. I would buy, even though I don't need to buy other people's kits, I would buy more from this lady to support her. I do believe in supporting other creators in the same line of work. Okay, now see, I come across albums like this all the time, and I'm like, well, what do I want to do with that? But you could cut stuff out of here. I would have to cut it down just because it's too big for anything, but I guess you could literally frame it, you know, put pictures in there and frame it. So yeah, I think this was a pretty good selection of stuff. Now you have to tell me, is it worth $12 for all of that? I mean, that's a pretty competitive price. Now here's one, a pack for $1. It was a different shop. So we've got a museum brochure, I guess you'd say. Some Plaza hotel receipts. And then souvenir of San Antonio. Oh, it's one of these little, oh, see, I've seen these before. I didn't realize that they probably originally came with envelopes. Well, that makes sense. You can't send this through the mail by itself. So yeah, so you could easily break this up into multiple, you know, take the binding out, and then you've got, or see, I'm not really into just reselling things as I find them. I want to manipulate it in some way, whether it's putting it in a kit or a journal, or creating, like with my bingo, creating a bingo kit that's got a lot of bingo cards, different bingo cards in it, because you can find boxes of bingo cards, but all those bingo cards are the same. So I want to create a kit where they're all different. So I feel like that was definitely worth $1. I mean, some people would sell the little postcard pack by itself and make a profit. Packaging paper, I guess. Oh, I bought this at the Dollar Tree. Paper to make tea-dyed paper. I always say tea-dyed, but I coffee dye mine. So I'm sure it would be cheaper to buy a big pack of paper, but I don't. All right, so then we've got stock certificates. I like getting them in different colors. These are from, like I have one, or I don't know, I may have sold it already, for the Howard Johnson Company. And for some reason, I just like Howard Johnson. But these are from 1960, 66, 28. This one's from 28. Almost 100 years old. This one's 1940, 56, 54, And I don't know what year that's from. So just vintage paper. Oh, I did buy another one of those kits. So I won't go through this one since we just went through one because it's from the same person. But look, here's something that's a little different. So I can see some pages in this that are not the same, from the same source as the one we just looked at. So that's always nice if you're buying them in person, not online or whatever. That's something to watch for, unless you like what's in them and you want multiple pages. All right, and then that's nothing. Just have a random Dollar Tree bag here, I guess from the paper. Okay, and then now I thought, I got these at Half Price Books. I thought these were going to be cute cards like this with strawberries, but it's not quite. So you're building something. I got a frog. So some of them do have strawberries on them, but it's, like I said, it's not what I was expecting. Now the back side of them, there are different backs. So we've got this, that. So, I mean, they're cute. They're just, I was hoping to get some, like if I wanted to, I've thought about making like a strawberry shortcake kit at some point, although I don't have anywhere near enough ephemera for a strawberry shortcake to do that now. But if someday I wanted to, I thought those would be good cards for that, but nope, not quite the same. So there are some disappointments, and usually these places it's, you know, no return. I don't know what Half Price Books, what their policy is, but antique stores, it's usually you can't return. Okay, so here is a vintage bank book. I like them because you can get small ledger paper out of them a lot of times. And people in the junk journal world don't really care if it's already written in. In fact, a lot of times they prefer it to be, but this one, oh, this one's different. So this one's like you went into the bank and they stamped your little savings book. So that's still pretty cool. What year is this? Does it say? Well, it should say. April 65. And then I'm assuming this is kind of the same thing. So $2 for that, that's probably overspending. Now, some people would just stick this whole thing in a journal because there's like nothing here. And then the person that gets it can write on all the spaces that don't really have something, or maybe they would glue something else in here or whatever. Or some people would just leave it as is because they like seeing all these things. But then other people would break this up so they could put it in multiple kits. What am I gonna do? I'm not sure. Because they're so small and it only seems like there's like 1 or 2 pages of actual ledger, I'll probably leave them whole. So then if you decide, okay, well, I'm putting this whole into a junk journal, well, then you just, obviously when you're, or maybe not obviously, but when you're trying to figure out how much to charge for your junk journal, you're taking these things into consideration. How much did the book cost that you got your cover from, if you do it that way? Some people make their own covers from cereal boxes, which is smart. But if you put whole pieces of ephemera in that you know how much you spent for it, then you can account for that. All right, you guys, it's another one of this is the one that I think might be my favorite. And this, I think, well, did it? Well, it doesn't have the it does not have the half-price books, so maybe I didn't get this as half-price books, which would mean that this is my second copy of this. I hope that's what we find, because you guys, this one has, well, fruits and vegetables, which is really cool. That's why this one is probably my favorite of all of them. And the insects. Oh, and a treasure. So, although it does not seem to have quite as many pictures as the flower ones, they're still fantastic. So the treasure that fell out, oh, somebody's garden plan, I guess, which is still, we still use that. So just gotta find a place to put the main set, because I think it might be too heavy for my calyx shelf, because I already have the bottom shelves of the calyx shelf full of huge, like, big books. I'm just not sure a regular shelf could hold all of the weight of this series unless I break it up, and so I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, that was in a bag with other things from Half Price Books, but it didn't have a Half Price Book sticker. All right, then I got these. I think you can buy, this is probably like the price you would pay at Barnes & Noble, because I think you can find these at Barnes & Noble. So I'm sure I way overpaid for these. But this is what the backs look like, which is great. And then you've just got, I think these are lovely. Now the question would be, like, are all the 7s the same? No. Okay, so some card decks will put the same image like on all the 7s and stuff, but theirs are different. So it should be a complete set of different images. So these will, I don't know what these will probably end up in kits or in journals. I've got vintage swap cards that I sell on my channel, but this would not be the kind I would do that with. Now, some people, if you are a Whatnot person, that's like an online auction. I have a link to my Whatnot shop below also, and I should have a link below that if you, I'll have to make sure, but if you've never been on Whatnot, you need to download my code, because then you get money and I get money to spend on Whatnot. But some people that sell vintage cards on Whatnot, they'll have like 12 single cards showing at a time, and then it's like buy 4, or you get 4 if you win the bid. And so they might put these up, you know, as individual cards in that kind of a situation if they were reselling them. All right. So we went to the Moon Pie store in Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge. I'm not sure which town it was actually in. And I bought a real book to read, like to just sit and read. It's sinkable, and I have always been a big Titanic fan. I did my senior year of high school, I did my research paper on the Titanic, but this one is about the people that are obsessed with shipwrecks. So I thought this would be pretty interesting read. All right, then I found this book there. Now I have found this probably at a Goodwill bin before, and I really liked it. I like the size of the page and the fact that it's just kind of monochrome green pages. So I picked up 2. while I was there. And this is the one that I thought might be similar to this one. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe not, because it's not the same person and it doesn't appear to be the same publisher or anything. So they just, I don't know, seemed similar, but not. So yeah, so grab 2 of those. So this was a real store. This wasn't an antique or vintage or anything. This was a real store. And then I found this. I was bummed to only find one of these. It appeared that it was on clearance and it's kind of damaged in here, and it's a coupon keeper, and you're like, well, who cares? But I love these little pockets, so I'm gonna take them off the ring and then use them in journals and stuff. And I can make my own. I could take one of these apart to see how they did it. Not like that would be very hard, but you can always use these as patterns for your own paper. And then they had so many pretty things. So I'm sure I way overpaid for, oh, I know I way overpaid for these. Although I don't know. Okay, these were $4.99 a piece. For these little, I had probably 50 different versions of this. So I just picked out, it looks like 6. And my thought is I'm gonna make them into pockets, which is also why I bought the pinking shears that I showed a few episodes back. Although I do see that even things that are cut with pinking shears do still unravel. But anyway, this one was Jolie. And this one is Chirp. So we had some birds, or kind of neutral colors. Noah's Ark. Dainty Meadows. But you can get this stuff on Temu. You can get this stuff at Walmart. It's all, you could get your own piece of fabric and cut it yourself. Like this really is like way, Winter Friends, way overpriced, I'm sure. And Shine. So I tried to just get a variety of designs, but they had so many to choose from. And these are they all the same brand? They are. Moda fabric. So I'm sure you could look them up online if you were interested. You get 42 squares in these little packs, and they are 100% cotton. 2.5-inch squares. Modafabrics.com. And then, holy cow, why did I pay this much for this? Oh, this is a bookmark, not stickers. So it's a metal bookmark. For $5 though, that's crazy. I was on vacation. That's no excuse. And a sticker for my sticker collection. And then of course, when you're on vacation at a destination site, don't forget to pick up all the brochures that there are. Lots of harvesting, especially if you go to some of these places on your vacation and you're doing your own personal junk journal. You can get images for even the restaurants you go to. So great source of just scrappy paper. Also, if you are somebody who sells paper strips, those would be great for paper strips too. Hi, let me take a brief moment out of our video to let you know that today's video is sponsored by Junk for Goats. Junk for Goats is my business where I sell and resell vintage, antique, and some modern ephemera for all of your junk journaling or crafting needs. I have shops on Etsy, Whatnot, and I list my digital items on my coffee shop. All of the links for those are below in the description, so please check that out. It's also important to note that 10% of all the proceeds from my sales are used to purchase goats from Compassion International. Those goats are provided to families across the world to help them meet their own families' needs in terms of their diet, but they can also take and sell the milk and the cheese that they produce from their goats to their friends and family nearby, helping to provide them with a income source that is valuable in the areas in which they live. So if you would like to craft with a difference, please check out the description below. And as always, thank you, and please enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks. And then Plants of the Cherokee. This was 12 bucks. I really went back and forth on whether I wanted to get this one or not. But I ultimately decided I would, because I could either just cut out this, or I could cut out the section to make like my own cards. But they are all just pencil drawn, but I like that too. And then you could also use this. This would be a pretty cover of a journal. And then I got some sour grape candy. And these kind of retro candies, I save the wrapper and use it. Now you guys are probably gonna think I'm redonkulous, but I have been saving candy wrappers, you know, because it's like I said, it's silly, but people collage with this kind of stuff. So that's the problem with this particular craft, is nothing is trash, which means your house becomes trash because that's all you have in it. All right, so that was it for that bag, the Moon Pie store. All right, back to antiquing. So did I only get one of these? Oh, I think I only got one of these. So these are collector Barbie cards, and the cards themselves, it looks like, are from '91. But I thought these could make cute memo pad covers. And they're from different eras. So I picked this one because it was old. I wanted more of the old style Barbies before they became so commercialized and the clothes are paper thin. But you can see we do have a variety of time periods here. So yeah, so these could easily all be laminated to be journal covers for, well, I guess I was gonna say, I guess I could put those together front and back, but I'd probably just use, I don't know, would I just use a cereal box to be the back of the memo pad? I don't know. But, so there were, how many were in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 12. There's 12 were in this pack. And he had several packs, but and I thought I got 2, but unless the other one's down underneath some of this other stuff, I only got 1. Then I found old labels. I love vintage labels, stickers, so I bought all of the ones that they had. This was probably also a ridiculous price because they were $3.50 a piece. And Jason's like, well, how many do you want? I'm like, take them all. Because this stock that I'm buying, I've got 18 months to pay off what I charged before they start charging me interest. So I've got to get enough stock to last me all that time. I can't just get $10,000 worth of stuff that I'm going to run out of next month. That would be silly. So yeah, so we picked up all of them, and I thought I opened one of these. So let me look. Yeah, I opened this one. So they all come with a marker. Who knows if that still works? Actually, do we even know if these are really vintage? I don't know. They just look vintage to me. So it looks like this. So you could, you know, get 4 labels out of this if you want to have things stuck in, or you could cut it in half, or give them the whole sheet. Heck, I've got, there's 80 labels in this packet, and I got several packs. So, and then see, I still buy the bingo cards that are by themselves just to keep my stock up. And these are, these are probably my second favorite bingo card. My favorite bingo card, it's like bright orange and bright pink, like a retro one from the 70s. But this is probably my second favorite because I like the font that the numbers are on. I like the size of the card. And these are I think from the 50s. But we saw a red one of these, right? Or a pink one of these in one of those kits. So these are the really thick ones. So I went ahead and got this just for more variety. I had thought about getting the travel ones too to put in the bingo kits, but I feel like those would be hard to use unless you use them as a cover, which would work. All right, we got some Tom Thumb playing cards, so little playing cards. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable, but the cat's under the TV tray. So they just look like this. I don't know. Sometimes I buy decks of cards that I don't really like just because the price is okay. Oh, well, this one had a, you know, like how it would hang. So I thought I liked that part too. All right, and then some more Norman Rockwell cards. I will always grab those when I see them. They're just kind of timeless. And then I try not to buy travel related ones, but this one's more mappy of the Hawaiian Islands. So, okay. All right, let me clean up some of my mess here real quick. Let's not put the book in the bag because it'll get beat up. So I'm curious, you know, for those of you watching, well, who else would I be talking to? But what kind of stuff do you like going antique shopping? I mean, sometimes they can be expensive, you know, more expensive, but I'm finding that it's very comparable in price to eBay. I think that's unfortunately just the nature of the age of these things that I'm looking for. Stop. Oh, I've got a mullet. Mullet is kind of what I'm going for here. Not intentionally, but premenopausal mullet. All right, this, I think this is why I made the caveat at the beginning that I try not to show anything twice, but I think I showed a 1970s Sears Roebuck catalog, and this one is from 44-45. So this one should have some great, you know, vintage. The clothing is probably what I like the best. I'll not show the bras, but look at these hats. I mean, that's great, right? You could either take the whole page out and put it in a kit, or even fold it up, or you could cut You could cut each of these images out and back it with something a little, you know, some cardstock or something, make a journal card. But I love this kind of stuff. And back in the 40s, I don't know if it was because of war or what, but the pages, it was very brown. So the monotone pages like this always had a brown hue, and that's kind of how you can identify that it's from the 40s. But I like even looking at, you know, pages like this, or here we've got a paste in, which is great. Oh, look at this. Modern Sears paint colors, that's fantastic. I don't know, your junk journals can be like a time capsule. I think it's fantastic. And then I'm always looking for the old magazines. These are from the 50s. I won't open these because I've opened a bunch of magazines on this channel before, but they're always a great source of advertisements and just nostalgia. And then we've got the Golden Book of Science. Pretty rough cover because it has this plasticky kind of layer on it, which you can peel off. Sometimes it pulls the color off with it, sometimes it doesn't. I would tend to pull it off just because there's no point in having it on there when it does that. So books, big books like this, you could cut in half to make journal covers. I don't know how sellable those or marketable those are, because people do want a nice looking journal cover. But if you can find somebody that's more utilitarian and wouldn't care. So this book just had a lot of, it's matte paper, which I like, and just a lot of great things that could be fussy cut with lots of different subjects. So this wasn't, if I remember right, it doesn't still have the price, but oh yeah, it does. $10. That I think was horribly overpriced, but here it is in my house. Okay, we can flip through this one because it's not in a wrapping. This one is 1966, so a decade and a half later than the other ones. But if you're, you know, all those people that are into the micro books, the itty bitty books, you know, you cut those out and you have your own, make your own little books. The frustrating part for me for these magazines is how big they are. So inevitably these pages have to get folded or cut or something, because it's really hard to find. Like if you wanted to, I don't know that this is a good one, but if you wanted to, some people sell the advertisements by themselves, but these would be hard to do because to get the backing cardstock or whatever, and the big plastic sleeve. I feel like that would just be cost prohibitive. Here we go. I don't know when tampons came on the scene, but you do find some stuff like that. Okay, here's Lane Bryant. Now, shame on them. They should have a plus size model because they do specialize in plus sizes, but yet, so how is a plus size person supposed to know if that would look nice on them? I mean, it's a very pretty dress, but I mean, I used to shop at Lane Bryant, although they were kind of too expensive for me, if I'm being honest. Yum. Okay, now I'm gonna want chocolate cupcakes. I haven't eaten yet today. But even these ads in the back, I will buy these magazines because I don't know how much this one was, but the other two that were wrapped were $5.50. Now, some people try to just resell them, but I don't see the purpose of that. Let the person who wants to sell it to you, and then you break it up into parts. I think you might find that you make more money doing that than just trying to resell it. All right, and then I finally found, I'm always on the hunt for Jack and Jill, whether it's the books or the magazines. I used to get this magazine when I was a little kid. I don't know if my grandparents got it for me or what, but so I found this one, $5, but it's Jack and Jill. So I picked it up. Actually, I don't think I've looked at this one to know, I don't remember what it, well, and this is March of '61, so obviously I would have had them in the early 80s. I'm sure they changed somewhat over those 20 years. Aw. Oh, look at that. That was cool. Kind of your old-fashioned coloring sheet. Oh, and look at this. What is this? Oh, The Tale of Jeremy Fisher by Beatrix Potter. That's awesome. So an awesome way to get some more ephemera. And it looks like they did it so that the pictures would be front and back. So hopefully that means you wouldn't really lose, or you just take the whole page, I guess. That's awesome. I didn't realize they put short stories, I guess, in these. This page is like glossier. Oh, you guys, look at that. Let's make this my thumbnail. Isn't that fantastic? Aw. And then just, so yeah, so this one is kind of Eastery. Yeah, Eastery. So this would make some good ephemera for Easter packets or journals. Yeah, so I don't know if $5 was too much for that magazine, but I never see them, so I decided it was worth it. And then I got 4 packs of ledger paper. Look at how big this is. Now I have a like a ledger book, bound book, that maybe would have been pretty similar to whatever kind used to hold this. But look at this. So it's like the original disc style maybe. But does it say how many pages were in? 15 pages in here, and they're so big, so you could get so many cuts out of this. They look like they're all used. I don't know if all 4 packs that I got are like that, but I can't, ledger's another thing I can't pass up, especially when it's vintage leather. So this is from 1954. And like I said, people do not care if it's actually been used. So, and for example, you could cut this into like 6 pieces, and then or you could cut it into like regular size paper kind of, but I would probably cut it into 6 pieces. And if somebody didn't like this part, they could still use all this down here. Not to mention whatever's on the back. Oh, well, this back is pretty full, but it's kind of fun. It's a time capsule. I mean, it may not be your memories, but it's still, I just think it's still great. All right, well, that was the end of what I have for this video. So let's find, okay, I don't think I mentioned this already, or if I did, sorry, I'm repeating myself. If you are, I may have said this at the very beginning, but I guess as a reminder, if you are interested, I have a mailing list. You get these awesome printables that I created as a thank you for signing up for the mailing list. And the mailing list people are the ones that will get the coupons to use in my Etsy shop. And so you want, if you're ever interested in buying from my Etsy shop, that will be the way to get the coupons and to get notified when I list new products in the Etsy shop. So obviously this whole channel, it won't completely be this, but the whole goal of this is to kind of walk us through the initial seed money spend of stocking your inventory and then working it all the way through to selling it. So obviously part of my goal is to sell my stuff. So I need to be sure letting you know I have stuff for sale. But so yeah, so the mailing list can help with that. And who wouldn't like, you know, some free freebies? And that's the only place you can get these. I don't have these listed on my coffee shop. But check out the description below. It's got a link to all of my shops. If for some reason I don't have my Whatnot link to download the app, don't download the app until you ask me for it, because it'll give you $15 to spend on anybody's auctions, and it'll give me $10 to spend, I think, on people's auctions. So it's like supporting all around. But otherwise, thank you for considering all those things. Okay, TV trivia. Let's hope we do better than last time. Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul starred in what police series? Bobby Diamond played what character on Fury? Who portrayed Rhoda Morgenstern on Rhoda? On what show did James Earl Jones portray Woody Paris? Who was Kate's famous husband on Kate Loves a Mystery series? What was Mr. Magoo's first name? Name the hound dog on The Waltons. What was the first TV movie ever made into a Hollywood movie? Oh, that's interesting. All right, so I don't know very many of these. Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul starred in what police series? Starsky and Hutch, right? And one of them just died recently. Well, when I say recently, it could have been up to 2 years ago, but so Starsky and Hutch. Bobby Diamond played what character on Fury? I don't know Fury. This game has had so many questions about Fury, and I don't know. So we're going to say Frank. Who portrayed Rhoda Morgenstern on Rhoda? Well, that was Valerie Harper. I was actually just looking up some trivia on her yesterday, trying to, because I've been watching through the Bob Newhart show with Jason. Had never seen it, and so we're watching through it. He's not really a fan of the older comedies, but I think he kind of likes it a little bit. But it's an MTM show, which was Mary Tyler Moore Enterprises. And so then I was like, went down this trivia hole of, you know, is MTM even still around? Because I don't ever really see that anymore. No, it was defunct in, I think, 98 or something. Got absorbed by Paramount, maybe. So then I was looking up when Mary Tyler Moore died and when Valerie Harper died. And Valerie Harper lived longer than Mary did, even though she had her brain tumor. So I don't know. Sometimes I get sucked into that. So anyway, Valerie Harper. Okay, I've got to move this leg. This leg has been bent for too long. Okay, I may never get it back out from underneath there, but we'll see. On what show did James Earl Jones portray Woody Paris? I have no idea. I don't think I realized he was on a show, which is sad. And he died recently too, right? So what show? Well, let's say the Woody Paris show, because whenever I don't know, I just say silly things like that. Who was Kate's famous husband on Kate Loves a Mystery series? Well, Kate who? Like, I don't even know who we're talking about. So, well, okay, let's say Peter Falk or Columbo or something like that, because, and I'm only saying that because Kate Mulgrew played Mrs. Columbo, but that's not what this says. But who knows? I'm just throwing that out at the wind. What was Mr. Magoo's first name? I didn't know he had a first name. Isn't he just always Mr. Magoo? Frank. It's not Frank. It's gotta be something like Herbert or Edmund or something. Name the hound dog on the Waltons. I have no idea. So let's just say Spot doesn't really sound like a good name for a hound dog. Maybe it was just Dog. This was during the Depression. Maybe it was just Dog. Oh, it's been so long since I watched that show too. What was the first TV movie ever made into a TV movie or into a Hollywood movie? You guys, I want to say something like The Burning Bed with Farrah Fawcett. And I don't know why I want to say that, because that doesn't make any sense. But I remember, and I don't even know, The Burning Bed may have come out after '84. Probably did. But I just remember that being like a really like newsworthy thing for some reason. I don't know. I don't know if they hadn't really done movies about that kind of subject matter before, or if it was kind of like one of the first real life recreation movies. I don't know. That's my guess. All right, the answers. Paul Michael Glaser and David Soul starred in what police series? Starsky and Hutch. Bobby Diamond played what character on Fury? Joey. Who portrayed Rhoda Morgenstern on Rhoda? Valerie Harper. On what show did James Earl Jones portray Woody Paris? I said Woody Paris. It's Paris. I'm taking that as a point. So he was the star of the show. Well, that makes sense. I mean, he deserved to be the star of the show. Who was Kate's famous husband on Kate Loves a Mystery series? Detective Columbo. You guys, was Mrs. Columbo's first name Kate because of Kate Mulgrew? Oh, yay. Well, shoot. Kate, I thought the series was Mrs. Columbo, but now there was a series. Well, let's even see. Was it even Kate Mulgrew who did Kate? Okay, it's called Kate Loves a Mystery. Kate Loves. Okay, see, it's coming up as Mrs. Columbo, which was on in '79. It didn't last very long. Yeah, so Kate Loves a Mystery is not showing up, so it's, I guess, been renamed as Mrs. Columbo. I don't know what it was originally, but awesome. Awesome. I love it when I luck into an answer using logic that's not always, you know, logical. What was Mr. Magoo's first name? Quincy. I would have never guessed that. I did used to watch the show Quincy, Medical Examiner, with the guy from The Odd Couple. What was his name? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. That's not the question we had. Name the hound dog on the Waltons. Reckless. What was the first TV movie ever made into a holiday movie or a Hollywood movie? Marty. What was that about, Marty? Was that a sports movie? I don't know. So how many did I get? I got Starsky and Hutch, Valerie Harper, Paris, and Detective Columbo. So I got 4. That's a pretty good card for me. I hope you did well also. So I want to thank all of my members, my subscribers, my viewers. If you are just a viewer though, please consider subscribing. I could really use the boost. I've lost a lot of subscribers now that I don't do Temu hauls. I'm not saying I'll never do another Temu haul, but I really don't now. If I'm gonna overconsume, let's overconsume something I can resell. But yeah, so please consider subscribing. I'm looking for more subscribers. And as always, thank you for commenting. And we've got Peanut is coming out from under the covers. But as always, thank you for all you do and your support. It means the world to me. It makes having these dreams possible. Although the verdict's still out of whether this will have been a wise, I'm sure is it ever a wise move to go into debt for something like this? I don't know. People that entrepreneurs go into debt for their dreams. So guess we'll see. But thanks for coming along for the journey and for all of the support and for the views, because that helps this channel make some money that can go into helping fund all of this. So thank you, and wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.